Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to talk about the notion that power belongs to the people, as enshrined in the Constitution, that seems to be consistently defined by leaders who come to power. This is evident in a country that's turbulent in terms of constitutional history, but also marked by multiple regime changes and constitutional amendments. Now, obviously, the concept of Vox Populi, Vox Dei, the voice of the people, is the voice of God, and Solus Populi Lex Suprema, the welfare of the people, is the supreme law, are fundamental principles that pin democratic governance. However, in Uganda's case, these principles have actually been repeatedly compromised, and that is something that you may want to understand. In terms of constitutional provisions versus practice, for example, the 1985 Constitution, which was actually enacted after a highly participatory and even inclusive process, establishes a quasi-parliamentary system which checks and balances among the executive, the legislature, and even the judiciary. However, the practice in terms of the executive has often, delineated or even usurped the powers of the other arms of government, and that is no mean story. Leaders, in terms of their actions, in terms of contradicting these constitutional principles, successive leaders have actually, used various tactics to consolidate power and also circumvent constitutional provisions, and that is something that also you must keep in mind. Now, obviously, things like amending the constitution, leaders have actually amended the constitution to the extent that term limits, for example, have been removed, or even removing age restrictions, allowing them to stay in power indefinitely. Now, obviously, this in terms of also manipulating electoral processes, elections have actually been marred by irregularities. Opposition candidates faced a lot of significant obstacles during the campaigns, restricting of civil liberties in terms of governments that have actually limited freedom of speech, assembly, even association, using security concerns as a pretext, and also appointing lawyers to leadership positions has also created a lot of compromising in terms of independence, as it were. Obviously, the consequence of such actions is not a small thing. The actions have actually resulted in a concentration of power in terms of erosion of democratic institutions and a lack of accountability. So the people's voice, which should actually be supreme, is often ignored and even silenced. Not so. Now, to restore the democratic principles enshrined in the Constitution, Uganda obviously has to demand greater transparency, accountability, and also protection of civil liberties. This requires a concerted effort from citizens, civil society, and the international community to promote democratic governance and also ensure that leaders uphold the Constitution provisions, as it were. Thank you, and God bless you.